Problem 1. As shown, ABCD is a square. So we know that this part right here is 5 and this part right here is 3. So the total side length would be 8. The total area in the figure that is shaded is blank. And take pi is equal to 3.14. So let's first analyze what we see in the figure. We see a square ABCD, and in it there is a smaller square whose vertices are on the sides of the larger square ABCD. So that's a square that's shaded, but on it there is a circle with one point on every single side that's overlapping. And there's also 4 identical triangles with their longer side length as 5 and their shorter one as 3. And this diagonal, this hypotenuse, we don't know. So that's why we have to find that. So you're going to realize that the hypotenuse that we're trying to find is ultimately going to be the side of this shaded square. So why don't we go ahead and use a Pythagorean theorem to help us. So this is 5, 3, 5, 3, 5. Okay. So let's just take one of these, for example. So one of the sides is 3, and the other side is 5. So we're just going to square both of these, add them, right? So the Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And if you don't know what the Pythagorean theorem is, I strongly suggest you to understand that before continuing in any more of these geometry related topics, because at this point the Pythagorean theorem should be a skill that you have mastered. So I will be putting the link to that in the description down below, and you can go down and click on that. So anyways, assuming that you already know what the Pythagorean is or how it works, in order to find the hypotenuse, we just add 3 squared and 5 squared, and that is 9 plus 25, which is 34. So the side length of that square is going to be 34, the square root of 34. But of course, the square root of 34, that's going to be the side length. But in order to find the area, all we have to do, so let's do area of square is equal to is going to be equal to 34, the square root of 34 squared, and since these two cancel out, we have 34. So this is the area of the square. So if we have the square done, that's basically, we're already halfway through basically. Well, partly halfway through, maybe 1/4 of the way through, because now we have to find the area of this unshaded circle that's in the middle of it. So all we have to do is find the area of that circle, take that out from 34, and then we're done. So first, what is the diameter of this circle? Well, the diameter of the circle is the square root of 34, because it's the same as this square and it moves down. So this entire thing would be the square root of 34. So in order to find this circle, let's first just write down the equation. We know that pi is equal to 3.14. So that would be the square root of 34 divided by 2, right? Because we always have the radius that's squared. Square root of 34 is only the diameter. So we square the radius and we multiply that with pi, which in this case is just 3.14. And now we can solve. So first we want to get rid of the square root, right? But since it's already being squared, it's equal to, especially on fractions like this, it's equal to being the numerator being squared and the denominator being squared times 3.14. So the top of the fraction becomes 34, the bottom becomes 4. We're multiplying that with 3.14. So this becomes 17, this becomes 2. So of course it's really just 17 over 2 times, now let's try to make 3.14 a fraction. So that would be equal to 314 over 100. If we divide this, we get 50. We get this, 157. So here, right, so this is 50. So now we have 1884 over 100. So the final area would just be 18.84. So our final area is 18.84.